Joining us now to discuss this further, we're joined by member immediate past Caretaker Committee, Port Harcourt City Local Government Area, Tekena Gbosi. Tekena, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, let's look at the challenges of, political violence in Rivers State. We've seen cases of this, and I mean, that's a conversation we're having now, given all that happened around October 7th. What are some potential challenges Governor Fubara might face in curbing, political violence in Rivers? And, what strategies can be employed to just overcome them?
Thank you for having me. First and foremost, I would say the governor won't be facing any challenge in the state because he has done everything within his capacity so that law order is maintained in the state. And like their foot down criminal activities to stop. If people have been found guilty by the panel of inquiry set up by His Excellency, then the rule of law needs to take its course. And I believe that will serve as a warning and lesson to others who want to take laws into their hands, in the future,
Now, I mean, yeah. Rivers State is a very peculiar state, all right? And I'm using peculiar because of federal might. We understand the power tussle or squabbles between himself and the past governor of the state, who is now the minister of the FCT, none other than Arson. Do you see him in any way being able to prosecute and, investigate individuals or groups that are involved in political violence without any sort of protection and interference? This is in no way trying to indict anyone, but I mean, given the peculiarities of Rivers State, one has to ask this question.
Okay, so I believe in the rule of law. If we go by the saying of the former president of Nigeria, late Yar'Adua, he always mentions the rule of law. Every government needs to enforce the carrot and stick approach. When people do well, commend and reward them, while those who are caught on the wrong side of the law should face the complete repercussion to deter other people from going that route. The governor reiterated his stance on accountability and affirmed that no one, including himself, is above the law. And anyone found wanting of the violence that erupted on the 7th of October, just immediately after the local government elections, will be called to book. If you're found guilty, you will be called to book. What the governor did by setting up the panel of inquiry is very commendable.
Right.
It's very, very commendable.
Right, yeah. But Tekena, can law enforcement follow through? Because we saw them remove themselves completely from the local government election exercise about a month ago or 2 months ago in October. Yeah, they're about in October. We saw them remove themselves completely from the exercise and let the electoral officers and the Rivers State RESIAC, as well as electorates, come out to vote, and there was no protection. Can law enforcement follow through in ensuring protection of political freedoms, plus human rights, and persecuting those who are found wanting?
Of course, the law has to take its course, and the security operatives will carry out their duties diligently. Thank you for coming to that. We saw that the past election, without the presence of the security of the operatives, was free and fair. I think the best elections we've had in Nigeria. For me, the dilemma though is how the governors in Nigeria. I'm not talking about Rivers State right now. I'm talking about the country in general. The governors in Nigeria attacked the chief security officers of the state, and they are meant to maintain law and order. Yet, the Commissioner of Police receives orders from the IGP. I believe the National Assembly needs to look at the practicability of this. What has happened to the conversation of state policing? We need the NAS to look into this seriously. If the court gives a judgment, the security operative should carry out the order. Why choose side in politics? You don't have to be politically inclined. Do what is right. That should be done.
I'm
The
glad
security operative do what is right and not be partisan.
I'm glad we're talking about non-partisan and and just bipartisan and neutrality and and key players and stakeholders in matters such as this. Because another stakeholders who we hope for neutrality and partisanship is none other than the local and traditional leaders and the role that they play in supporting efforts when it comes to reducing political violence. And how can their influence be leveraged in this in this situation?
Come again? You're breaking out, sorry.
I apologize. You're talking about neutrality, and I'm bringing another key stakeholder into this conversation, and that's the local and traditional leaders. They play very vital support efforts, whether it's, reducing political violence or even aiding political violence. How can their influence be leveraged in this case where Siminalayi Fubara is trying to come to a peaceful resolution and a peaceful state and prosecute those responsible for the arson of October 7th?
The leaders, the traditional rulers, I believe, we call them the elders in today's society. They see what we might not be able to see. And they say the truth. Like in the case of River State, they see green and call it green. Hence the reason you see a lot of the elites, a lot of the traditional rulers are at the side of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of River State, Siminalayi Fubara. The governor vows to stop the unreasonable violence in Rivers politics. It is the way to go. Blessed are the peacemakers. The governor is changing the narratives in river politics. Politics without bitterness and violence is the way to go. And the governor has been consistent in showing himself as a man of peace because politics cannot be do or die. The same thing the traditional rulers and the elders in the state are saying, are preaching to the both parties involved in this. So they've called the both parties and preached peace. And we need peace in River State. So everyone involved in the rifts in River State should come to terms and let there be peace in River State.
Well, Tekena, I must say thank you. We hope for peace in River State and a peaceful resolution for the sake of the people of the state. Once again, many thanks. Tekena Gbosi there is a member, immediate past caretaker committee, Port Harcourt City Local Government Area.